Generally, S3 is nothing but a storage system provided by AWS, where we will be seeing some buckets and folders inside the buckets, and we can uh, create files there and maintain the partitions. However, we are maintaining our uh, files in Windows Explorer, we can maintain that. So the only thing when we are creating this AWS bucket, uh, we need to we need to keep in mind that AWS buckets needs to be unique across all the accounts, bucket names. So while creating the AWS bucket in the nearest available zone for us, I mean, we can create it in any zone and it can be accessible by global. I'm just trying to create one here, general purpose, and I'm just test. I'm not changing anything and I'm trying to create. What it is saying is bucket with the same name already exists. So the basic thing we need to remember is we cannot create this bucket name which is already existing in a global level. You can see here it is mentioned that we cannot create it at global level. So if someone from different account and a different region has already created this S3 bucket with the same name, we cannot use it unless they deleted that bucket. So to avoid that conflicts, so we need to follow our own standards, like adding our own prefix or attaching our account ID to the bucket name. So some standards we need to set at our organizational level or at account level, and we can use that. We can follow that standard so that there won't be any conflict while creating S3 bucket. So coming to the file format that S3 supports, it supports all of the files, any type of files. You can store images, Parquet files, JSON, CSVs, Avro files, zip files, everything, every file or executable files. I mean, just for storage, you can use anything. So while creating buckets, we'll be seeing few options. So here the bucket name and bucket type. So this is general purpose bucket type, and directory type is it is introduced newly like 1 month or 2 months ago. It is a different storage class, which is nothing but S3 Express One Zone. So where data will be processed faster. Uh, in general, if we are trying to access one S3 folder, this is the general case which will be existed from long back. So it will be created in the nearest zone, and that will be replicated. I mean, that will be accessed fast, but there will be some latency, at least milliseconds or seconds latency. But they introduced a special zone, which is nothing but S3 Express One zone, uh, which is much faster. So it will be the directory will be created in a single zone. There won't be any replications in other zone, other regions. So the the replication will be, I mean, the travel will be very much faster. So if you see here, uh, the guidelines they are providing, these buckets use only the S3 Express one zone storage class, which provides faster processing of data within a single availability zone. So if you select this, again, it will be asking which availability zone. So we have three availability zones for US East one A, one B, and one F. So it will be creating in one of the availability zones. So if that zone is available, uh, the travel will be very much faster. You won't need to search for other zones. It's directly uh, goes to that zone and retrieve. So that's the reason the directory S3 Express one zone storage class is faster. So ACLs. What ACLs is access control list. So if I am creating an S3 bucket, I wanted to access that S3 bucket outside of this account from a different AWS account. Let's say my organization created one AWS S3 bucket, and they have another AWS account from which they wanted to access this S3 bucket from the other AWS account. So for that purpose, they will be providing the access. They will be disabling the and enabling the access control list. And if it is disabled, you can just it will be by default block all public access. And if you are changing that, we can restrict that. I mean, we can limit the access. So you see, public access, blocking the public access and accessing grants to only ACLs and all. So there are few options that we can see while seeing how we are going to add policies for S3. So in general, by default, every buckets will be public access will be blocked. Otherwise, there is a possible scenario, higher chances to others to access S3 buckets where the data sensitive data is stored. So that's the reason most of the cases ACLs will be disabled. And if we want to enable the ACL and if you want to provide access to other accounts from this account, we just need to enable the ACLs and again we need to control the access for the buckets. So if there are two options. So if I am selecting the ownership as bucket owner preferred, uh, so the owner who created the bucket will be the one who are taking care of that bucket access completely. So if I'm selecting object writer, so all the buckets will be shown to every user, and the one who writes the data inside it will be the owner for it. So that's uh, that's not the primary case where we will be using ACLs in considering the recent time scenarios where the data breach is happening and data leaks are happening. Everything is no, we need to keep everything safe, right? So the data is the powerful weapon in the modern day. So we should not be granting any uh, additional access which are not required while creating a state bucket. So we need to keep safe that we need to keep the data safe. So once we are done with granting access and access control list, we are coming to bucket version. So what bucket versioning is? So I created a bucket. I did something inside that, and I deleted that bucket, and I recreated it or retrieved it. So I wanted to know how previously, before deleting that bucket, there will be some data inside it, right? So and there will be some policies attached to that bucket and all. So I deleted that bucket and I recreated it. So if I am disabling this bucket versioning, how it will consider it as whenever I am creating a bucket second time, it will be uh, creating it as a new bucket. If I am enabling the bucket version, what it will do is it will just show the version number. So if you see here, if you see inside it, I haven't enabled versioning for it. here, I can see the option called show versions. So if I'm going into it, I have one file here, one data file, data.csv file. I uploaded it here. If I'm just enabling this button, show version, it is showing none because I only uploaded it once. So if I am uploading that file again or modified that file again a little bit, it will show the different versions, version 1 and version 2. It will show the versions, the files. So if you want to revert back or if you want to go back to particular version, you can change that to that part. And coming to data encryption, so by default, AWS will be providing some encryption strategies. Like the default one will be SSE3 and KMS, DSE, KMS, dual layer server and server side encryption with AWS. These are all server side encryption. You don't need to worry about it. But what we need to do is whether we need to figure out whether we need encryption or not. Uh, in general case, it will be by default general SSE S3 encryption, which will be provided from cloud side. In some cases, we'll be going with AWS key management services. So that depends on again requirement. It, it is same, but doing this encryption will be doing will be having billing costing us like few dollars. So it's not much, but minimal amount of things will be costing for us. And also coming to this storage will be again um, we will be charged for storing S3 data in S3 or storing, I mean, transferring data from S3. So if you go to this AWS S3, let's say I'm just using S3 transfer and S3 standard and S3 data transfer. So let's say if I'm having 1 GB of data per month and I'm doing some 100 get and select or 1000 get select puts everything. I mean, get and select means just a retrieval of viewing files, listing files from programming side like it, and put copy post list is copying files, uploading files, copying from between folders here and there. That's uh, those operations are comes under copy post list uh, request. So let's say I'm having 1,000 those kind of those requests and 1,000 gets and select, and then if I'm doing some data scan for 1 GB and data return 1 GB, these basic things will be charging me like $0.03. Like for 1 GB, it is 1 GB stored, it is $0.023, and there are 1,000 put requests, it will be 0.005, and this is how the data is calculated. So we need to every time we need to monitor while creating the buckets or while doing the operations. We need to make sure whether our data is getting the cost higher or limit. So for those scenarios, we can do like data compression. Like if you are using CSV files or Parquet files from a job, if you are writing those files from Spark jobs, you can use some compressions like snappy compression. And there is one more compression. I think I didn't remember the compression type, but we can do that. It will reduce some uh, storage occupancy, and also it will improve a little bit of performance. So even S3 storage is not free here. It will be charging us a little bit, not huge, considering the data size and all. If you are limiting it up to 1 GB and number of requests, 2,000 per month will be charged. only $0.03 per month. So it varies from services and the storage types we are using. So earlier, so once you create the bucket, it will be creating the bucket like this, and inside that one you can just create your own folders, and you can create the data inside, upload the data into it. So all you need to do is just create folder and just give the folder name. Whether uh, if you are providing encryption for your S3 bucket, you can add that policy to this folder as well. Just we have two options: do not specify encryption, can specify encryption. If you are having an encryption key, you can use directly bucket settings to these folders. And if you want to override it, you just need to create again a different level of encryption. We can have that option. Once the folder is created, you can just directly go into it. You can drag and drop. You can just click upload. You can add folders from your local machine or directly add files. So it will show the destination details, which path it will be storing, and access. Whatever the access that bucket is having, those access will be given to this. So, and also the file will be uh, the file storage class will be uh, selected. We can select that. So this is the new one where we are seeing at the top as the Express module, which is nothing which is implemented newly again 1 month back or 1.5 months back, which is used for faster retrieval. So here you can see single digit millisecond response times. So it will be available in it will be created in a single zone, and it won't need to read from all replicas, and it will read from only one replica, and that's the reason it is able to retrieve fast. So in general, we'll be using uh, uh, so if you are using if you are utilizing the data more frequently, like if I'm trying to access the bucket and the data every day, so I will be creating that with the standard, so that it won't go like archive, or um, it will be available all the times. Even the latency for reading that is a little bit delayed than Express console. And we have few other object types, which is intelligent tiering, standard one zone, 1A, glacier instant retrieval, glacier flexible retrieval, deep archive, and reduced redundancy. So all these things will change. So consider few scenarios where we will be accessing data every day, once in every day, once in every week, once in every month, once in a quarter, once in half year, once in a year, and the data which we are not going to retrieve anytime soon. So, so for that, we have different storage classes. So if you see, this is for frequently accessed. Standard is for frequently accessed. So if I'm using regularly, like every day, or twice every day, thrice every day, or 2 day, once for 2 days, like that. That's general case standard. And intelligent is data is changing or unknown access. So let's say I'm accessing the data today, and I don't know whether I will be accessing it or tomorrow or not, or maybe uh, after 10 days I will be accessing it again. And again, after the 10 days, again, the next day I will be accessing the data. So that's a little bit like inconsistency in the data accessing. So that in that case, it will be like intelligent tiring, and we have other one for once in a month, standard 1 year, frequently accessed once in a month, standard zone 1 year. So in general case, we'll be either using standard or glacier, because there won't be a scenario. There are less probability of accessing data frequently for once a month or in a month gap. Either we will be using it every day or we will not be using it completely. So in that scenario, we'll be using glacial deep archive because I don't need the data anytime soon. So if I'm going to use a standard class, it will be a little bit costlier. So if you go to if you go to this price calculator and if you select yeah, deep archive, and if you are selecting the values, same values, and if, see, the cost will be much lesser. Above for standard things, we are seeing for the same amount of data and same operation, we are seeing 0.03 US dollar. And here for archive, it's $0.2 because I have enabled the requests. There are few things we need to consider. So if I'm not giving any request, the price will be reduced. So in general, for Glacier type, we won't be retrieving data anytime soon. So the request will be reduced. It's just for storage purpose. So for only storage purpose without any request, the cost is very much minimal. So here I'm considering only uh, 1 GB of data, right? So that's the reason. Uh, that's the reason I'm seeing no major difference. So if it is more than 1 GB or if it is around 500 GB or 1 TB, the cost difference will be very much huge. So is it clear? Any questions or any doubts so far? Yeah, I'm taking it as no then. So once you create the AWS bucket, you will be seeing few things. So here, objects, properties, permissions, metrics, management, and access points. So if you go into properties, you will see all the properties that we uh, while creating this S3 bucket. So bucketing overview, bucket which region we created, what is the ARN number, creation date, bucket versioning enabled or disabled, and tags, data, default encryption, and intelligent tagging. So you can just create the configuration for tiring. You can check the rules. If it is, we can just configuration scope, will limit the scope of this configuration using one or more filters. This configuration applies to all objects. So in general, we won't be enabling this because some data we might be using it once in 10 days, and some data we might be using once in a day. There are scenarios where we need to access the data inconsistently. So we this is the less possible scenario, least possible scenario. We will be enabling this intelligent tiling. So all you need to do is just give the name and select the condition that you wanted, and you just need to create. So what it will do is it will monitor the AWS S3, and based on the conditions you are providing there, it will move that storage type from whatever storage. If you are making it in standard, it will leave it standard or it will move to the glacier type. And server access logging. So server access logging is if you are enabling it, you need to have um, this logs will be stored in CloudWatch. Okay, so I'm not enabling any logs for it because CloudWatch is another service where the logs will be stored. But the thing is, will also be costly. I mean, not much costly, but even if we are writing logs to CloudWatch, it will be charging us few things. So I didn't enable that. And if once enabled, you can see what kind of logs, what kind of events, if a file is copied, deleted, updated, or modified, anything, every event will be logged there. So all these, once we enable all of them, you will see a brief of those data events or logs here. So these are all the basic things which we uh, sorry, which we are which we won't be needing it here. So what majorly we need is lifecycle rules and permissions. So once while creating, we just blocked all the public access, right? We disabled ACLs and we blocked the access public access to this bucket, right? So that access you can modify it if you need it. You can just disable the public, I mean enable the public access, and you can uh, select that particular access that you want it to be. So for each option, you can see a description given below. So for the first one, block public access to bucket and objects grant through new ACL. S3 will block public access permissions applied to new bucket, newly added buckets or objects and prevent the creation of new public access ACLs for existing buckets or objects. This setting doesn't change any existing permission. So if you enable this one and if you create a new ACL, what it will do is it won't disturb any existing bucket policies. It will be created for only, it will be uh, granting public access to newly created objects. So the second option is it will override the existing buckets as well. So it will grant public access to all the buckets. And yeah, these are also similar policies. So basically, we just need to uh, block public access by default, and then we need to enable that. Sorry, someone, does anyone have any questions? Is anyone talking? I'm just hearing a little bit. Uh, so as we discussed, we'll be blocking the public access by default, but it will be taken care by networking team uh, whether the other account is having proper security measures and all. After considering that only, they will be granting the access. So bucket policies, which is nothing but ACLs we are talking about. So all we need to do is we just, this is uh, the same thing that we created the policies yesterday. So in the IAM policies, we were creating some policies, right, to grant access from Lambda to access Glue or Glue to access Lambda. So those kind of policies you can create it at bucket level, which is again we discussed it yesterday. All we need to do is we just need to select the service which this will be having the access, and that bucket will be having perform by having access to do those actions. So those actions will be selected from here. So let's say if I want to, there are less scenarios where we will be accessing other service from S3. So there won't be a case like that, but there will be a case where we will be accessing S3 from other services. So that scenario we need to consider. And metrics, these are just the basic information. What is the total size of that bucket? What are number of objects? Number of files? and all, and storage class analysis. This is for like auditing, monitoring stuff. So coming to management. So life cycle rule. So life cycle rule is, uh, let's say I created a bucket. I created few folders inside, and every day I'm uploading files. So there are incoming files every day. I'm uploading 10 GB data files every day. So coming down the line, once I reach to half yearly, every day I'm uploading 10 GB of data, right? So every day 10 GB, it means per month it will be like 300 GB, and for every month if it is 300 GB, for 6 months it will be like 1.8. So it will be increased rapidly. But uh, one thing here is I'm not once I uploaded the data after 1 week, I'm not accessing that old data. I'm only using last 1 week of data for processing. So that means the other remaining the data older than one week is not required, right? So I can delete it, or if I want to store that, I can move that to different storage class like Glacier Deep Archive, which means it will be stored in a compressed format in lesser storage space. So for that, I just need to create a lifecycle rule on a particular bucket. So I just need to give a name, and if I want to apply for all the objects in that bucket, I mean in that bucket, if I want to apply the lifecycle rule to all the folders, I just need to select this. Otherwise, if I want to limit, I will be just selecting one, and I will be just giving the prefix. Prefix is nothing but uh, there will be like for inside the folder, right? So if I want to only apply to data folder, I can just give it like that. So only the lifecycle rule will only be applied to that particular folder. So if I want to apply it for this entire bucket folder, I can just select that one and I can acknowledge. So we have few actions. Move current versions of object between storage classes. If I want to move from storage standard to Glacier, uh, and if I want to move that, I can move. And if I move non-current versions of objects between storage classes, if I let's say we talked about versions. Let's say I created a file and I modified it, and I created four versions. And if I don't want to have those four versions in the main standard, and I just want to move that to a different storage class, I can just select that one. And expire current versions of objects. Expire current version. Uh, so expire basically. So if you see here, show you somewhere. Never expire. Yeah, there won't be any expiration date for this object. So expiration in the sense deletion, right? We'll delete the file. So basically it won't be it won't be deleting anything by default. So unless you want to delete all current versions, so this is the least used options in this lifecycle tools. And basically, we will never going to use it. And the next one is permanently delete non-current version. So here we are moving non-current versions from storage class, right? So here it will permanently delete. It won't be moving. It will be deleting all the non-current versions. Let's say if I have a file of 5 versions, the remaining 4 versions will be deleted by selecting this option. So delete expired object, delete markers, or incomplete multi-part upload. So incomplete multi-part upload means, so if I'm trying to upload a data file, or write a data file using a Spark job. If it started writing and the data is not completely copied or completely written to that bucket, that incomplete file will be deleted. So these are the options we have for lifecycle actions. So once we select them, so for each option, you will be getting an option here. So if you see, if you disable all of them, you don't have any actions, any transitions or actions here. So if you are selecting each one, if I am selecting the first one, move current version objects to storage class. So choose from choose the storage class and number of days retention. So if I am having a file for 10 days, I'm just giving return 10 days. The file will be transferred from that bucket to whatever the storage class I am giving. So in general, it will be standard, right? So from standard, I wanted to move that particular file after 10 days to Glacier Deep Archive. So I'm just selecting that option, making the transition and giving it as 10 so that everything will be moved to um, different storage class. So which will be costing us less and which will be occupying less storage. So the files will be moved to that storage class, and even we will be seeing similar actions for each. So you just need to select the options, number of days travel, and just save it. Everything for everything we'll be having options. We just need to select and create the rule. Once the rule is created, it will be running that rule every day. Like at a particular EST time zone, EST 12 a.m. or 1 a.m., it will be running that life cycle rule so that the files will be moved accordingly and the versions will be taken care. So, so replication is something we will be hearing when we are working with uh, traditional databases or big data applications. Replication is if we have any failure in any node of the server, we don't need to lose the data. We should not be losing the data from that. We should be having that storage at somewhere. So in general, we have three zones, right? While creating S3 bucket or while creating S3 Express one zone, we saw that we are having three zones. So in general, if we are creating a general purpose bucket, we'll be creating the replications, three replications by default. So even if one zone is unavailable, the other two zones will be available, right? So the data will be retrieved from. So it is replication is something to keep the data safe from server side. So it will be even if we upload it once, it will be storing that data three times. You got my point, right? How the replication is taken care. So by default, even in big data services like Spark and all, it will be storing uh, each each data file three times, which is nothing but replications. So here also we have some replication rule configuration, whether to enable or disable, and whether the replication will be done for particular objects or applied to all the objects, and which role to perform that encryption, storage class, everything. So all these things will be creating our S3 own S3 buckets replication. So these are the two things will be taken care as a data engineers, the replication rules and lifecycle rules, and this access point is something where like what we say. So in general case, we will be using this ARN, right? So every bucket will be having some ARN. You see here. So this is my ARN AWS S3, my bucket name. So instead of using that, you can create an access point. So you can see here as the access point simplifies managing data access and scale for shared data sets in S3. So it's like uh, naming my S3 bucket, creating an access point, and inside a network, and inside that network, or you can give access to internet or VPC. You can just some create some access like you can restrict the access like read access, write access, or delete, modify access, those kind of access. And you can once you created that access point, those whoever are using this S3 bucket from other services will be able to perform those particular actions. So this can be this access can be granted at account level. I mean inside that VPC or internet. That means either public access or without public access. We have three options. One is for in private network, which is nothing but VPC. One is internet access and without throughout the account without public access, and the third one is public access outside of this account. So we can create three access points and grant access for this S3 bucket. Any questions on doubts on these S3 topics? So I think I'm taking it as no. So I hope everyone is fine with AWS S3. So how can we create buckets? How can we use storage classes? How can we create bucket policies? How can we create lifecycle rules, replication process, and most of the cases as data engineers, we will be taking care of creating folders, data files, and creating lifecycle rules. The other remaining parts like creating buckets or adding this encryption and replication rules, access points, all these will be taken care by DevOps. There are few engineers where they are acting as data ops, which will be uh, who are a part of DevOps and as well as data engineers. They need to know how the basic things work, like these configurations works. So is everyone clear?
Yeah, Shrikant. So,
Okay. Yeah, can you speak a little bit louder?
yeah,
Not.
Shrikant, quickly about S3 bucket. So, you told us that you'll talk about Lambda today, Lambda function.
Yeah, but S3 took a little bit more time than I anticipated.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll be covering that in the next session on Monday.
And one more thing that you said that you'll share the coursework today, if possible. Can you share it
Yeah,
with
I have
us?
created that. I will be sharing it for you. I will share it with the person, and they will be sharing it. I have created it, but actually I thought it will be taking. I will be covering a couple of services in a single day, but considering today's scenario, that might not be possible. I will take it one at a time. I need to make some changes, and I will be sharing that.
Yeah. At what time you're going to share it? You're going to share it today, or else like you're going to
I will definitely share it today. It only takes around 30 minutes or 1 hour to modify those changes. That's fine. I will share it.
share? Okay, sure. Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah,
Shrikant.
if you have any suggestions on any other services that you majorly wanted, you can just ping it in here or share it with that person, and I will make uh, necessary changes to the plan to accommodate that.
Okay, sure. You know about it.
Yeah. So I am considering my experience and uh, the trainings I have given earlier. I did this plan,
Mhm.
so it might be taking a little. Few services might take some time than we planned, or few services might complete early. So that will be changing a little bit. So
Okay.
we the plan the plan we created might not be exactly will be following. There might be few changes here and there while going on.
Oh, yeah, sure. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, is everyone fine today? Obviously. So I'm hoping that you all created your AWS free account and giving it hands-on like for IAM. We can yesterday we discussed about IAM and it is free to create roles and all, and we can create some budget monitoring building that we discussed again yesterday. And even today we can create buckets for free, but the data is not free. Storing the data is not free. That we need to consider. All these things you can do the hands-on. Whatever I am showing here, you can just uh, do the same. If you get any doubt, you can just read the description over there, or you can just reach out to
Also, Shrikant, one more thing.
me.
Yeah, I've tried in my RDS. I mean, like I tried in my account that some few services like RDS, data migration, and CloudWatch, and other few services. Like even though it's free tier, I'm getting a bill. I know some cases are not. Like some services are not free tier, like data migration and all. So how to avoid
Yeah,
that?
what are the services that you mentioned? All of them are even the CloudWatch is billing us.
Yeah. So how can we avoid them in the first place?
In this session.
Yeah, in the free tier. Yeah.
Yeah, we can just discuss them instead of getting the answer again. I will be showing some live how to create and all. So instead of just creating, we can just open that, see all the options, discuss all of them, and we can just close it. It won't be charging us
Gotcha, sir. So if in case like if we change the billing ID and then after creating the account, if we change the billing IDs, that would be a good option to use this.
for that. Changing the billing ID in sense.
It's like we'll modify the billing, I mean like a credit card with a different month. I mean like expiry date. So I've tried it.
Even though if you change that, it will be billing ID. Even though if you change the
It
card,
will be billing. It will be billing, but we can delete the account, right?
yeah, you
So
can delete the account, but before deleting the account, you need to clear the dates.
yeah. So like we
So
can use
that's
for
why
one. We can use it
that's
for a
why
month.
you
We
need to
can delete.
yeah, that's why you need to uh, create your budget.
Yeah,
You
I
need to
already created it, but almost I got it like $15. It's,
so you need to be more cautious then.
yeah.
You need to remember what you created. Either you need to write it somewhere, okay, I created on this date and I need to delete by this
No,
otherwise
no.
I will
No. I usually like terminate at the end of the time. Like I usually like what do we say like rather than terminating, like I'll just stop this services even though I got bills. So that's what happens. Okay.
yeah, there is no options. AWS is smart enough to catch those
Mm,
things. So
okay.
they will be they are ready to charge us. So we need to be more cautious.
Okay. I got
Or else we need to avoid using them. But it is not possible.
you. All right.
Any other questions from anyone?
No, and that's it. That's good.
So if everything is fine, uh, I planned for Lambda to complete today, but it didn't take place. And even Lambda will take like 40 minutes or 45 minutes. So I'll be covering that on Monday.